Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching Access Hockey MI. Today, we are going to talk about Evgeny Svechnikov because we don't want you to forget about him. He's a fantastic player, and we're going to tell you why we think he should be NHL and why the Red Wings should keep him because he's fantastic.
We're very partial. We happen to like him a lot.
So let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so Svechnikov, I don't even know where to start.
A lot of words.
There's a lot of words. Like, we have notes, but it's hard to kind of contain it. He's been with us for a long time. He was drafted in 2015, 19th overall, and he's only 23 years old. So he's
that was
pretty
5
young.
years ago.
Yeah, I mean, mind blown. We're old. Nice! I can't whistle, so that's cool. So his rookie season with Grand Rapids in the 16-17 season, which was also the season we won the Calder Cup, he had 51 points in 74 games, and that's including...
So he came out on fire.
It was crazy. He was really good. That whole season, I mean, we had a lot of rookies that year, too, which were outstanding and super cool to watch.
It was a great team of just support for everybody else around you. Like, everybody's contributing, everybody's getting points. But we'll talk about that.
Everyone was consistent. But anyway, so fast forward, he gets injured, blows out his knee, has to get surgery.
That was the 18-19 season. He was injured out the entire season.
Yeah, so they put him on long-term IR before the season started. He missed the entire year, and he was still in the entry level at that point in time. That would have been his third entry-level season. Because he was on long-term IR, it basically voided that season and reset for last season.
Pretty handy.
It was very handy for him especially. So 2019-20, he only had 25 points in 51 games played. However, it's not to his discredit. Coming back from literally exploding your knee is kind of a big deal, considering that, you know, hockey's all leg for the most part.
Well, and in that time, other guys come up. Yeah. Other guys fill your spot. I can't imagine being injured and seeing your team on the ice, and you can't help.
You can't do anything.
/ you're also watching other guys maybe make more of an impression than you would have.
He didn't even take the ice again until March that season. So it was a very, very long recovery. So all that in context, we kind of wanted to touch on his state of development, where he's at. A lot of people have kind of written him off, and we've done articles about this, and we've talked about this before.
Guys.
Don't write him off.
I don't know what else to say. Stop.
Yeah, you blow out your knee and then come back and have a 70-point season. We'll see
you
do it. But where he's at right now, he's still a very strong skater. Last season, I was really impressed with how he was doing, especially towards the end of the season. And, you know, developmentally, mentally, that's kind of where his game is at. He's got to get that under control, and a lot of times he does, and he's growing.
That's something that a lot of players struggle with. So you've heard us say a lot about his skating. He's a very strong skater. He uses his legs a lot in defense of the puck.
He's an intense skater.
And keeping the puck. He's really good on the boards. He's really passionate about what he's doing, and that is evident on the ice.
He's been described as a total package.
He's a great playmaker. He really is a total package, and I think what's ended up happening is that other guys in the process have been looked at a little more or have been touted a little more, much like Philip Zadina, Joe Veleno, while talented players. You kind of get the Evgeny Svechnikovs in the background going, hey, I'm ready, you know? and I think that's kind of what we're seeing, because like Rachel said, he had the last year of his entry-level contract voided, so then the 19-20 season was actually the third year, even though it was his fourth season with the Griffins, if that makes sense. So
which is why he's a free agent right now.
And unfortunately, so many of the guys with the canceled season ended up being stopped right before their production actually started to be consistent.
They were hitting that stride.
And like Rachel was saying, toward the end of the season, Svechnikov was doing incredibly. He had streaks of points. He was really showing confidence on the ice. He was someone that could be trusted by the coaching staff, by his players, by around him, all the people around him.
And you could tell, too, mentally and just even in the locker room, too, his confidence was boosted. He was playing to the level that he knew he could play.
Yeah, because we've said it before, and we've heard it said before, you have to play like you don't belong in the AHL. And he started to play like that. The ice was too small for him. He needed to grow bigger. He needed to get out there. And I think that his strength has also gotten a lot better. So with the stiff competition, we feel like his development has gone really well, especially considering he was coming off injury. So where does that leave him?
It leaves him, I would hope, closer to the front of the pack. I mean, you've got a lot of guys, the younger ones right now, who, like Janae said, everyone's kind of honing in on and focusing in on. But with Svechnikov, the thing that he has working in his advantage is, one, he's been a pro for a while now. He's conducted himself very well, and he hasn't lost his temper and his patience through this whole process. It has been frustrating, don't get me wrong. There's games where you're like, yeah, he's really ticked off on how he's playing. But he knows how to...
But that's all personal, too.
Exactly.
It's not blaming anybody. It's all personal.
And a lot of people will throw it up like, oh, he didn't get to play against Andre, or, he got sent down before his birthday.
Which is a big bummer.
It's a huge bummer, but to professional athletes, he grew up playing against Andre anyway. But, and, with professionals, he knows that he has to kind of reset that, and you know what, that's in the past. It's time to move forward. He wants NHL, and he knows what he has to do to get there. So that being said, he needs to make an intense push, and I think he will. Especially if he gets re-signed for one more season, I think if they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, re-sign him for one more, he has to make this incredible push, which I believe he's capable of, especially considering you've got guys like Abdelkader now who's kind of, he's not.
We've heard it said that he might start with Grand Rapids because he can't have a buyout due to his contract. Right. So he might go Grand Rapids.
And that frees up a slot.
It frees up a slot that a lot of people are competing for right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Svechnikov could make a good case for it. I think he'd be signed at least 2 years more instead of one. Just because you want to see... You don't want to lose Svechnikov, guys. He's a great player.
Give him to Carolina.
And I think that there's a large argument that can be made for just putting him in the NHL, seeing what he does.
Yeah.
Put him in there at the peak of his confidence, which was the end of this last season, just because he was doing so well. Yeah. See what he does. Don't squelch it so quickly,
Exactly.
And there's been rumors about KHL, which have not been confirmed by anybody important. So that would be Svechnikov or his agent. So
exactly. The team hasn't confirmed it, either Grand Rapids or Detroit. Geno himself hasn't said anything about it, and he's pretty candid in general.
I'm sure he'd say something.
Yeah, exactly. His agent hasn't said anything. Nothing has leaked. So all these rumors, and I know there was a couple in February, March. I'm seeing articles from April talking about how he's going to the KHL.
I think it's just because people don't know what to talk about.
They don't know what
they're trying on. They're trying to create things.
Yeah,
and trying to make stories.
Yeah, and it was translated from Russian. Guys, we don't speak Russian. We've all been over this. Anyway, it's not confirmed, so stop that.
Quit it. We're just going to come at you today.
Exactly.
But what do you think, Rachel, about what has the new leadership, so new leadership being Steve Yzerman instead of Ken Holland, what does that mean to you for old contracts that we're seeing, such as like Dominic Turgeon or Evgeny Svechnikov, Joe Hicketts?
I think with guys like that who have reached the end of their entries, and we know this is the end of Turgeon's extension, and Hicketts has one more season left of his extension.
He wasn't a draftee. Hicketts wasn't a draftee. It's just an old contract that maybe we're trying to see where it's going.
Yeah. I think that the new leadership does greatly impact it, because basically what Kenny Holland started, even in the last season or two of his tenure with Detroit, Yzerman is now having to get those fresh set of eyes on it, and it almost needs to kind of start over. It's not to say they're going to offer 2 and 3 season-long contracts. Yzerman isn't going to do that going forward. No,
because I think he has a great ability, being a former player himself, being a former champion himself, being former GM himself, and seeing the potential in a guy and seeing like, hey, that's not really going to work where we're going.
Exactly, and I think the new leadership does impact that in the sense that those guys that we have had for 5 or 6 seasons, they're probably not going to be making a move to the NHL. Some guys are just AHL, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just kind of sometimes...
Or they'll go NHL with another team.
Yeah.
It happens.
That's what the leagues are for. If you want to play, you get placed there. But I think Yzerman's mentality is different than Kenny Holland's, and I think it's a good thing. So it's kind of looking at it with now another fresh pair of eyes, another team around him with additional influence and insight. So if these guys are extended, it might be for a season or 2, but I think it does greatly affect that. And same with the newer guys coming in. He knows that, you know what, sometimes you don't just throw them out on the NHL ice their first season. It doesn't work like that. So I think there's a lot of really good influence happening, and I think Geno hopefully will be on the positive end of that.
Personally, I think his performance has been enough to make a play, at least for the NHL. Yeah. Although you do see other guys who have been given maybe a tiny more chance, such as Philip Zadina. He had a lot of hype, and he spent quite a bit of time with the Red Wings in the last season. But I think that Geno's performance at least makes it so I think he should be given a chance. We're the last team in the end of the 1920 seasons. We were last in the league. And that's no sense to like just throw everybody up. No. But I also don't think that
there's literally nowhere to go but up from here.
Hopefully.
Ideally.
So let us know what you think about Evgeny Svechnikov, if you've kept up with him, if you've forgotten about him.
I think he's got it in him.
Stop forgetting about him.
Seriously.
Let us know in the comments what you think about the future of Detroit and about the development and who you'd like to see given more of a chance for the NHL. And what do you think about Abdelkader maybe starting with the Griffins?
Ooh, we're here for you, Geno. We got your back.
We will. See you next time. Bye, guys.